Hello, Stash YouTubers. Following up another controversial one that people talk about. I guess it's been reported now. This has been a long time thing. Like, will you take the chip? And it's obviously in people that are interested in Book of Revelation and other, whether you believe in it or not, or other forms of paranoia. It's always been there's going to be a chip. I think they've been saying that for years. There'll be a chip. It's biblical referenced in that, so it's always created some paranoia or emotion. But and there's stories, I think, in Ibiza, wealthy people who party already have a chip, so they can enter into other rooms to party around and get back to their hotel and party, or they're in such, I don't know, sophisticated parties in Ibiza. Now in the UK, now they're saying, they're chipping their employees, so it's a reality, and they'll say, well, it'll be sometime before it comes to the United States, so probably mean that it'll be here next month or something. And I think employers have already said, well, you gotta have the chip or you're not gonna work. And I mean, what if you work for a high-tech place and you got some information? It's going to be like that Neuromancer movie or whatever, where this was before The Matrix, the other one with Keanu Reeves. I think it's a William Gibson novel. I think the Yakuza wants to cut his head off because he's got data. Well, what if you work for a high-tech company and they chip your hand? Because I think it's going to be your hand, somewhere in your hand. On this one, I gotta hand it to the Book of Revelation paranoid people, because it does sound like the stuff they were saying for years. All right. What is it a good idea to have other than if you need a pacemaker or you've got an injury, they got to put a plate in your skull, or they got to put screws and things in your back. Does it make sense to put basically a computer in your hand, or a tracking device, which obviously could be a tracking device, and say, well, we'll store sensitive data on there? Or at one point, what if the wealthy CEO of the company gets pissed off and he's like, activate the chip, and they're like, it blows your hand off, What I hate about talking about stuff like this, like I was just, the previous vlog is the geoengineering and the chemtrails, unfortunately only, wacky people talk about it, okay? Or it's just dismissed outright, Or there's weathermen on that chemtrail thing who get questions and just say, no, those are contrails or whatever. But, you don't have to be a scientist to necessarily call bullshit on some of this stuff. And, what is going to be the line? Ray Kurzweil wrote The Singularity, of which his main concept is that with the computer power doubling, I forget that rule, I don't know if it's not Murphy's, but the Moore's law or something law, that the computer power is doubling every 6 months or every such period of time, that it's going to go beyond the capacity for humans to keep up with that. We're already seeing people cannot cross the street without looking at the smartphone. They cannot drive properly. They're killing themselves. No, do not text and drive, by the way. Of course, do not text and drive. People are already trying to get that ultimate selfie. I don't know how many countless people lose their lives because they want that selfie near some wild animal, or not wild animal, but over, getting a view over a cliff, we just got to get or they're supposed to be parachuting. I don't know, that's a bad example, but there's a lot of them where people are on a cliff, right, and they lose their life. This is in that vein of, this is the beginning where all politics will have to do with how to deal with technology. So, pretty much there were innovations like when they figured out how to dig canals or make highways or railroads tracks, or the combustion engine, the Model T, and then the aircraft, rocketry. Each time, at least some of these inventions lead to an economic boom, and then there's a mania over it, and it kind of adjusts, and the power behind it, the energy behind that money, dissipates, and you have kind of like a depression or recession or whatever. The dot-com boom, for instance. And where am I going with that? I guess what I'm saying is this next one will be probably they'll be they're going to say part of the reason for the next depression is that there has to be painful decisions made about society and integration with this technology. By that I mean literally, as Kurzweil said, we're going to have to put the high tech in the body to keep up. My opinion about, my semi-informed opinion about that is you have to trust that the scientists are ethical, and I don't think any person or any group is fully ethical. I think some scientists are great, and of course some scientists are not. And you could say, well, it's bad enough with the internet and with cameras everywhere that the lack of privacy. That doesn't seem to compare to actually putting the chip in your body, which could be blown up. Maybe. I don't know. Certainly, everybody's tracked too much as it is. You put the chip in, it's an endless thing. So, but I guess, allegedly, the employers in the UK are saying that's it. You get ahead, you get fired. And so that means it'll be soon to the States and soon to the rest of the EU, I suspect. My second part is, obviously, there's already with the robots, I think Kurzweil says, I think he listed the 2017 as the year that virtual sex would surpass real sex in popularity or desirability. I don't know if it's reached that point yet, but they are now saying that there are brothels with robots, and indeed, I suppose probably people who are prostitutes thought that they had a little longer than other professions. Are they going to need call centers now? I know for a fact that the goal there is AI answering. Already when you have to call places, people are flipping out because you're getting a robot and they're getting pissed. So there's another job. And the driverless cars are here. I think there was a minor setback because unfortunately a woman was killed by one. I think that's just a minor setback. I've witnessed them too. I don't know. Give me a shout if anybody's seen them. I've seen a Google car unmanned. It's funny how I went, Philip K.Dick definitely. That's why I think his work is so popular. Not just his novels, but the novels that have been made into books. And it reminds me of Minority Report, the driverless car. Some of that stuff's probably going to be good. Maybe there's too much traffic, but I mean, it will be a difficult, painful transition period. And at what point is humanity going to have to make a decision where to say no? My point about this is, the job elimination. I think Rolls-Royce or a company like that already has in motion, if not even out there, merchant ships totally unmanned. And then the next would be, I think, the truckers. In the movie, the last one, the futuristic one of Wolverine, the X-Men, I thought if you've seen that movie, it's kind of sad. Wolverine, Professor X is in rough shape. Wolverine is there, and there's it's supposed to be the future, and they confront these driverless trucks, and I thought they did an amazing job. It's kind of coming up people, and it's like the lights are beep, So where is it going to end there? I mean, and then it's already yeah. I guess understandably, there's already some talk of, well, what rights do the robots have? You know. I already don't much care for it. When you go to some store now, you check out on your own. You do the shopping. You put the stuff in your bag alone, and you check yourself out. There's a job that a person could have had. You know, I know one square where the stores are all unmanned now, and now Amazon and other big companies are talking about, or maybe just Amazon. I don't know. They're ahead of the curve, I guess. On stores that you just, I don't even think you pull out your wallet or whatever. You just go in and just, it knows you, and or I don't know how you identify it, and you just shop and take the stuff out. I don't think you have any human interaction. Which begs the point where they'll say, well, more education. Well, what percentage of people are able, can do programming and robotics? And I don't know. Some people, the people who develop this stuff, are saying it'll be a golden age. You'll have more free time and stuff. But if they tell the merchant marines, the truckers, maybe even frontline customer service people, what's going to happen? It's like on my last vlog, I was just talking about, you said there was no such thing as chemtrails, but then there's geoengineering. Sorry, these are just some basic concepts, but I want to know what people think. Or am I just out to lunch? Ray Kurzweil, MIT, comment on my blog, brother. What do you mean by the? And people are familiar with that term singularity, that the people will merge with fast machines. Do you believe it? I think Noam Chomsky himself says the singularity is a bunch of bunk. Bunkum, hokum is bullshit. Noam Chomsky says the singularity is bullshit. I don't know. I mean, Ray Kurzweil's singularity and his other work, he's obviously a guy that knows what he's talking about. He is saying he's trying to stay healthy himself so he can make it to the point where we do the merge with the machines. This is sometimes known as transhumanism, I believe. Or that was a philosophical end of it. Or maybe even not. I digress. The transhumanism, that's another topic. But robots, what are we going to do? Can you type better than a robot? Oh, wait, we won't need typing. Merchant Marine, are you a Merchant Marine? Can they start to do fishing without a guy in there? I don't know. Maybe you need a guy to interact with that. And yet, paradoxically, I think that we don't do enough to get out to outer space myself. I think Elon Musk talks about that. All right, well, let me know what you think about all this stuff. Yeah. Will you take the chip? What do you think about being replaced by robots? All right. This has been the Stash Vlog. Take care.